All right, hello friends, and welcome to a new reading vlog on my channel. So I am not really all that far into Six Scorched Roses by Carissa Broadbent. I'm like a couple of chapters in, and this book is not very long at all. It's only like 150 pages. So I don't expect this video to be extremely long, but I thought it would be interesting to read in a video with you guys. Six Scorched Roses is book like 1.5 in the Crowns of Neaxia series. I've already read book 1 and 2, which on the back here, as you can see, is The Serpent and the Wings of Night, and book 2 is The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King. I'll remember what they're called. I didn't know that this book 1.5 existed, so I didn't read it in between book 1 and book 2, but after I read book 2, it features some of the characters that are in this book, so I thought I'd go back and I would read it. I will say, however, that so far, and again, I'm only like a couple of chapters in, but I've glanced at a few of the later pages so far, and this is not really the book that I was expecting that it was. So our main character, Lilith, she is a human, and she lives in this world where there are different kind of like countries, where there's like a human country and there is a vampire country. They share the same world, they share the same like gods and pantheon, but other than that, like, they have different languages, they have different cultures, everything else is different. I really enjoy a good language barrier book, which seems kind of weird to say, but I've recently been really enjoying books where the main characters can't talk to each other, and so that's what I was expecting this was going to be, because our main character Lilith is a human living in the human world, and so she speaks the human language and does not speak vampire language, whereas the main male character in this Vale is a vampire who is from like the vampire country, and so he speaks the vampire language. And I didn't really consider that maybe he's bilingual, maybe he speaks the human language as well, but that is so far looking to be how this book is going to be going. I'm a little upset, but to be fair, that was me making assumptions. Another thing is, too, when I read The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King, which is book 2 in the series, the one that happens after this one, Lilith as a character was very kind of quiet and easygoing, though a lot of that can be attributed to the fact that she is in the vampire country and everybody's speaking vampire language around her. Whereas in this book so far, she's looking like she's going to be a very strong female main character. The town that she lives in has this curse that was set upon them where everybody's like decaying and decomposing. Like their skin is just falling off of them, and she is trying to find a cure both for like her entire town, but then also for her sister who is decaying right in front of her eyes. And she is eventually going to make some sort of deal with Vale, where I think it says that she will give him 6 roses in exchange for 6 vials of his blood. I'm not really sure how that's going to help her in this scenario, but, you know, it's very obvious through the beginning of this that she is a very, like, take charge kind of person, and she's here to solve her problems no matter what. And that's not what I was expecting from what I read of her in the second book in this series, but you know what? I just had expectations that were different than the reality of this book, and that's okay. So I'm gonna read a little bit more of it. Like I said, I don't expect it to take me very long because this is only like 150 pages, and we will see how this goes. Okay, so I finished 6 Scorched Roses quite a while ago, honestly, but I never told you my final thoughts on it, so I thought we'd sit down and have a little bit of a discussion. I didn't really like this all that much. It's an okay book. You know, I don't think that it's bad in any way or that somebody shouldn't read this if they're interested in it. I just had different expectations for this book than it actually was. And so that really cut my enjoyment of this because I was just wanting this book to be something different than it ended up being. I think I talked about this at the beginning of this video, but the main character, Lilith, is just very different than what I was expecting. She's a very strong main character. She has her things that she wants to do, and she's going to do them no matter what. I honestly wasn't that big of a fan of her relationship with Vale, which is interesting because I thought that they would be an interesting couple from what I read in the second book in this series. But actually reading this book, I was just kind of like, okay. This book does take place over the course of 6 months, I think it was, but this felt very superficial. It felt like we were just getting into like the basic first layer of their interactions, and they needed a little bit more time to grow, time to be together just in general in each other's presence and learn about each other more. I feel like I wanted more out of this, but also simultaneously I don't really know what else more there could be, because by itself, like, this book was complete. Even though it's only 150 pages long, it tells a story from beginning to end, and it doesn't need any more in order to tell that story. I don't know, it just wasn't for me, we'll say that. Sometimes you're really excited to read a book and you don't end up liking it because it's not what you were expecting, and that was what this book was to me. So I am kind of sad about that, as well as with my thoughts of The Ashes and Starkhurst King being not what I was expecting. I'm kind of scared. I still want to read book 3 in the series because we're focusing on different characters, and I want to see more of that in their story and the way that that goes. But now I'm kind of nervous to hop into it because what if I don't like it? I really liked book 1 in this series. What if the rest is bad? But that's all that I really had planned for this video, is just me reading a quick little 150-page book. I know this is a little bit more of a shorter video, not much going on, but that is all that we're going to have in this vlog. So thank you for watching this vlog. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the future. Maybe for the 3rd book in this series, or whatever else I end up posting on this channel.